Finding love again after heartbreak is not easy. One of the things is finding love after heartbreak isn't about rushing into a new relationship. It's about finding you. It's about healing, rediscovering yourself, and opening up to the possibilities of something even better. That is what I'm going to talk about today. And so, some ways that you can move forward and process this because make no mistakes, when you are in a situation where you've had your heart broken, it is grief and it is like it is a loss. And so we can look at it like that and begin to acknowledge and process the pain. So feel your feelings. Don't suppress them, or rush through the pain, because a lot of times what we do is and I am the queen of suppression. I will suppress something so fast. And so what we do is we suppress these things. We start feeling things and we deny ourselves our feelings. And so we don't want to do that. We want you to feel and we want you to grieve this loss in a way that feels right for you. Whether it's through journaling, talking with friends, or therapy, I'm going to um, link a resource in the comments that I created, Healing Through Grief. And it's actually the same process because I go through the 5 stages of grief and, all of that. I can't, I was gonna say Maslow, but that's not it. It's Kubler-Ross's amazing tool. And also, you want to start reflecting on your relationships. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? And what would I do differently next time? So for me, I took a time out, which I'm going to probably cover that here as well. I took a time out and I decided to, after I got divorced, after 20 years, from a man that, you know, he just didn't appreciate me. And that's what I'm going to say about that. But he was abusive in his own ways, but I'm not really focused on that, and I have forgiven him, of course. And so, but I asked myself, what would I change? Of course, I listed all the things I didn't want first because that's how we are conditioned to do. We're conditioned to list all the things we don't want. Okay, he's a cheater. I don't want that. Same thing in my case. He's a cheater. I don't want any more of those. He doesn't respect me or appreciate me. I don't want any more of those. And so what I had to do was I had to start shifting that into saying, what do I want? Because what you focus on, you will get. That is the law of attraction. It is a law. And so I started asking myself that. Another thing I did was release the blame. So whether it's toward you or your ex, letting go of the blame is crucial. In order to heal, you have to let that go because blame is such a low level vibration and you cannot move forward with that in your heart. The next thing is rebuild your relationship with yourself. And so, what does that look like? Rediscovering your passions, reconnecting with hobbies, interests, and dreams that you may have set aside or you may have, put on the back burner during your previous relationship. Maybe that person, didn't vibe or didn't align with your passions, but you began to start to pick those up. Hola. And so when you start doing that, I'm telling you, things will shift for you. You'll start to really understand yourself again because a lot of times in relationships, we tend to lose ourselves, especially women. Now, men are probably not as similar as we are, but I think they also have this as well, needing to rediscover their passions. Maybe they stopped working out like they used to, and now they can work out better because, they're alone and all this stuff. The next thing is self-love practices. So take some self-care, meditating, exercising, simply spending time doing things that you enjoy. And I talk about this all the time. I say I love to color, so I have a coloring book. I like to read, so I got 80,000 books here that I'm reading. And so these are things that I enjoy. And so when you start to move and you start to shift, you want to do that because those things are going to bring you happiness. You also want to reaffirm your worth. Remember that your value isn't determined by your relationship status, whether single or coupled or married or whatever it is. It's not determined by that. You know, you are valuable regardless. You bring things to the table regardless, just because of who you are. And the next thing is you want to heal or wounds. And so through doing that, you want to identify emotional patterns. And so what does that look like? Are they recurring themes in your life, such as codependency or fear of abandonment? And for me, that was one. Fear of abandonment was huge for me. And I started doing the work around that. I started journaling. I started talking to God, you know, meeting with my spirit team and sitting down and asking the questions, you know, really opening up. And that is something that will really move the needle for you when you start to open the questions. Because a lot of times we recognize these things, but we are afraid to we are afraid to ask the questions. You know, because many times we know that when we ask the questions, we're going to be called to the carpet. You know, we're going to have to do something because you're going to ask these questions and then you're going to get some guidance. And so for me, fear of abandonment was huge. And so one of the things for me that I picked it up was, and I still deal with it a little bit today, and how I saw it was when my husband and I went to like Costco or maybe an event place, and somehow, you know, we got separated. And I started feeling this little twinge. And I didn't know. Thank you so much, Diego. I didn't know that this thing was, you know, so deep within me, you know, that I had this fear. And I think that it probably, and I'm still working on it and unpacking it, but I think that it probably came from even back in childhood, not even just my ex. He was horrible and notorious for that kind of stuff because he would do stuff like if I called him and he worked a lot on the road, which probably saved our marriage because he wasn't home, but he worked a lot on the road, and so I would call him and he wouldn't pick up the phone. He wouldn't answer the phone, and he might not call me back for a day or two. And those things used to irritate me beyond anything. Oh, I would get so mad. And so um, and so this thing I had to unpack and I had to realize that that's what was going on for me, you know. And so how, if you drop in the comments and tell me if you identify with that, how that work, how that looks like for you, because it looks different for some of us. You know, some of us is codependency, you know, where we just have to be with somebody. And that was actually my ex, because we actually had a conversation about that after we got divorced. He would, you know, for a while he would call me a couple times a month and just talk and, you know, stuff like that, because we were together since we were 17 for 20 years and married for 20 years, but together since we were 17. So together about 22, 23 years. And so I knew him probably better than anybody else. So he would call me and talk to me, and you know, we would talk about the kids and stuff. Our kids are grown, but we would talk about, you know, different things. We would talk about life, and he would ask for my guidance and my insight because he knew that I was intuitive and insightful. You know, and I would do that because, like I said, I forgave him. You know, he had his issues. Shit, I had mine. I forgave him. I forgave me. I'm good. The other thing is seek guidance. So if these things are really, 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 you know, really, 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 you're really looking at them, you might want to get you some therapy. And I can say, and I'm gonna tell on myself, I did, because I started looking at things and I was like, ooh, I don't know what to do about this situation. And I had done all the things I knew to do. So I went and I got some therapy. Not only did I get therapy, I got my children therapy and counseling, because I was like, you know, we all have been through some trauma here. And so we all need to go talk to somebody. Therapy, coaching, spiritual practices that help you address deep seated wounds, Reiki, theta healing, prana healing, quantum healing, QRIT, QHHT, you name it. There are many, many different ways for you to get help and guidance that you need. Also, forgive. And I just talked about that. I hit on that a little bit. Forgiveness will help you to free yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing someone's behavior. It means freeing yourself from the emotional weight of carrying the past. It's time to let that shit go. Forgive yourself. Forgive the person. Guess what? You can't do anything else. I mean, you cannot forgive them, but you know what? That is going to bring its own share of things into your life. It's going to bring disease, and it's going to bring, you know, conditions. Autoimmune diseases are really big things that happen with people that are having forgiveness issues. I know because I have dealt with that. The next thing is define what you want in love. And that is another thing. Set intentions. What kind of partner do you want? More importantly, what kind of relationship do you want to create? That is the thing, because I talk about this all the time in most of my videos when I'm talking about this subject. We all have these types. We look at we look at TV, we look at people in our lives, and we say, oh, I like them tall, dark, and handsome. I like them whatever, whatever. You have types, but guess what? If that type worked for you, you will still be with that person. So it doesn't work for you. So shut it down and let that go. Start to identify non-negotiables. Be clear on what it is that you want, values, and what you will and you won't tolerate in a relationship. Or let's say it this way, what you will or won't accept in a relationship. For me, non-negotiables is cheating. I am not dealing with a cheater. I am not doing it. It's a non-negotiable for me. A non-negotiable for me is somebody talking to me and calling me out of my name, something other than what my name is Tammy. You know, that's, nasty and negative. Those are non-negotiables for me. I am not dealing with it. Non-negotiables for me is a man that either won't work or doesn't have no money. I'm not dealing with any of that either. You know, I ain't no gold digger, but I ain't looking for no broke nigga. That was my thing. Um, Credit Kanye West and Jamie Foxx. But yeah, so these are non-negotiables. So you decide what yours are. And then begin to visualize your ideal love. Imagine how it feels in a healthy, loving partnership. Imagine. Think about dates that you desire to go out on. Think about places you want to go to travel if you like to travel. Think about, good meals that you're sitting down with your love. Maybe you always wanted to go to Hawaii, but you didn't have a partner that wanted to go. And so think about that. Maybe this partner, wants to go to Hawaii. Why? Because you have aligned yourself to the love that you are seeking. And so this person has similar interests that you have. This person is supportive. Even if they don't want to go to Hawaii, they'll go because they love you. You see what I'm saying? And so as you begin to visualize your ideal love, oh my God, it's almost like when you start thinking about a car that you want. And this happens to all of us. You start thinking about a car, like I wanted this Kia Optima and I wanted it black. Why? I don't know, because I saw Blake Griffin jump over it. And at the time, they had good reviews and everything. People weren't having problems, whatever, whatever. And so I decided that this was what I wanted. Well, all of a sudden, I started looking around anywhere that I went and I would see these cars. I would see the black Kia Optima. I would see it, everywhere that I went. And so when I went and bought it, it wasn't, strange because I was already seeing it. And so this is also one of the things that will happen for you as you visualize your ideal love. And then take your time before jumping back in. And so this is something that I did. I did this. I took my time. I dated myself first, spending time alone to understand what makes me happy. Because many times we don't know. We don't know, especially if you've been in a relationship that was abusive. You don't know. A lot of times you spend time just making sure that, the eggs didn't break. Making sure that, maybe they're bipolar asses when they came home, making sure that, they didn't beat on your kids or something like that out of anger. Stuff like that. And maybe this is how you did. But now it's time for you to just decide and understand what truly makes you happy. What makes you happy? And then you want to be open. And I want to talk about that too. So I dated myself. I spent a year. I did not date any living soul. I dated myself, took myself to dinner. I like sports. I love football and basketball. So I took myself to sports bars and bought me some dinner. My children would be either at work because they were teenagers then. So they'd be at work or doing whatever they were doing. And I would take myself to dinner and just spend some time with me, just having a good time. I would take myself to the movies, sometimes by myself, because I would have a friend or two and say, I'm going to the movies. I want to go. We would plan to go. And then something would happen and they couldn't go. And I said, you know what? I don't care about that. I'm going. I am going to the movies. And so I would just go. No problem. I would take myself to the movies. It was such an amazing thing. And it was such an amazing year for me just to take that time out to date myself and love on me. And then you want to be open, not desperate. So love is about attraction, not chasing or settling. I want to say that again. It is about attraction, not chasing or settling. Because a lot of times, y'all, we'll settle for people and then you wonder why you ain't happy. Stop that. Stop it. There is somebody for everybody. It is. But that person might not be your somebody, might be somebody else's somebody because you settled. So don't stop doing that, y'all. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. Trust the timing. Divine timing is real. You do not need to rush. The right person will meet you at the right time. And I am a living witness. Sometimes things have to be orchestrated for you to meet that person. For me, I moved clear across the country, from one side of the country, from east to west, to meet my husband. And I didn't know at the time that I was going to meet him. I just was being guided. God told me to go. He told me to leave the place where I was. And I left and I went to this other place. And so when I went there, let me see, I think 8 months after I got there, I met the man who is now my husband at the time. And when I met him, I knew that he was my husband. Now I was not looking. I wasn't looking. I was dating a little bit, but not a whole lot. I mean, just here and there because I had moved across the country and didn't know people. And so but when I met him, I knew, I felt his energy and his spirit, and he was the things that I asked for, um, the things that I wrote down. That's another thing. That is another thing. So you want to make a list of the things that you desire in a partner. You want to make a list of the things that you desire and the non-negotiables, because there are some things that because nobody's perfect, close, but nobody's perfect. So you want to make that list. You want to trust in the timing. And then you want to open your heart to love again. Because what happens a lot of times, especially if you've been in multiple relationships that failed or that didn't work, you want to open your heart to love again. A part of that is letting go of the fear. The fear of being hurt again can block you from experiencing true love. You cannot experience true love if you are thinking that you're going to be hurt. Trust that you've learned and grown from your past experiences. I'm telling y'all, this is so real. Practice vulnerability. Opening up doesn't mean being naive, it means trusting yourself to handle whatever comes. Trusting yourself. And that right there, y'all, is huge because, nobody wants to be vulnerable. But when you trust and you know that, you can handle whatever comes and that God has equipped you with everything that you need, then you can be vulnerable. You can open up. I never knew, I never realized, I never thought that I could be as open and vulnerable as I am now with my husband that God sent me, you know, that I didn't wait on. Attract through alignment. So focus on becoming the partner you want to attract. And that is what I talk about in my new program, Aligned to Love, manifesting, becoming the love that you seek. So you become that love and you can't help but to attract it. Because once you become the love, you're going to radiate it out and attract the one that is looking for you. Trust in divine timing. Love often arrives when we least expect it. And I just told y'all my story. I did not even expect it. I had a friend that spoke into my life December of 2012 and said that you're going to meet your husband soon. And I said to her, I hope I'm not trying to meet any man, especially one that I'm going to call husband, because I knew that I was going to get married again. I had already known that, but I had been through some other relationships, and Jesus, no, not none of them. And so I was like, all right. So when she said that, I said, I'm not trying to meet no man, especially not one I'm calling no husband. And she said, but you're going to meet him soon. And that was December of 2012. And I met my husband in August of 2013 after I moved clear across the country. and pissed off almost everybody in my life. Almost everybody in my life. But, my parents were supportive. But I had a few friends that were like, God wouldn't tell you to do that. And that's another thing. God will tell you to do that. If you trust and you trust and you surrender to the Holy Spirit, to your God self, to God, to the collective, they will tell you to do that. They will tell you because it's a journey of trust. And so finding love after heartbreak is possible. And it begins with loving yourself first. So definitely make sure that you share with me what's one thing that you've done to heal after heartbreak. After you watch this video, what is one thing that you've done to heal after heartbreak? Share that in the comments below with the community. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more guidance on your journey to love. Because this is what I'll be talking about on this channel right now, because I have a program. Matter of fact, I have 3 different ways that you can work with me regarding this. If you see yourself and you hear yourself, within the things that I'm saying, I have probably by the end of this month, I have a book and I also have a course and a program. So if you are a person that you don't have a problem reading a book and getting inspiration, that'll be for you. If you're a person that you like DIY and you don't mind studying, and it'll be six or 7 videos. There are going to be meditations with this thing. This thing is all the truth, because what it is what I created was something that I wished that I had when I was going through this. Like, I went through all this stuff on my own. There was nobody. I didn't have anybody to talk to. My grandmother had already transitioned, and at the time I didn't realize I could talk to her even transition. But she was my person that I would talk to about any of this stuff. And so she was gone. And I didn't have anybody else that I trusted to share with this. And so these things, Holy Spirit guided me through this process. And I am here to be that spirit guide in a way for you. And also check out the Stand Store link in the description for all of my, not all of them, for many of my free resources as well as some paid resources. I have a forgiveness letter. If you are having issues with forgiving, I have a forgiveness letter in there as well. That thing is fire, but it is not free. It is $7, which is almost free. But yeah, so make sure that you also check out my Amazon links in the description. I am an affiliate, so I do get a small commission, but help a budding creator out by checking out those links. There are a lot of things that I use, all the things I think I use, some things I love. And so I have some links there for you, as well as the link to my Stand Store, which has the products. And also I have formed a membership. Remember who the fuck you are. So if you are interested in community and membership, make sure that you check that out in the Stand Store as well. And it is $97 a month, because I am not a gatekeeper and I'm not here to convince you to do anything. I'm just here to share and to be a conduit in giving you this information and this wisdom and this insight that I have gained over the years. 56 of them to be exact. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. And those of you that found me on your For You page or whatever they call it over here on YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you for liking, share, and subscribing, especially if you know somebody needs this, y'all. Because I'm telling you, there are so many of us out here, which is why Holy Spirit told me to get on it and start to create this stuff so that, you guys can get some help. And I have like a whole playlist, a Line to Love playlist that this is going to go into as well, that you can check out. I have a Line to Love playlist. I have a Timelines, a Frequency of Abundance playlist. I have a few playlists that I'm really proud of. And so I would love it if you would go and check those out and watch some videos for me and help me monetize on this channel, because that is my journey. So thank you for joining me today. If you would like to check me out on TikTok at Intuitive Tammy, where I do readings, healings, and prayers. I think I'm going to start doing them over here too. But I do readings, healings, and prayers. And I would love it if you join me over there, because there's a lot of stuff over there as well. I have a couple of a lot of stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And I also do private sessions, y'all. I do private healing sessions where you're gonna get a healing, you might get a reading, you might get somebody from the spirit world might come and join you. So check those out in my stand store. And if you need any information, you can comment or you can go to the about section and find one of those platforms and send me a message. Or I think my email is even in the about section. So you can go there and check that out for me. So anyway, appreciate you. Much love. I will see you guys on tomorrow because I have committed to doing live here every day. So tomorrow I will be back live again. Um, yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I hope that you got something out of it. And make sure you let me know in the comments. Bye now.